Today we're going to review the range of yellow stains and red stains by the American stain manufacturer C.E.Oster Co. This is a fantastic range of hand ground paints by a paint maker who had never made paints before but believes in intuition in order to get his results. We've got our range of test results here with some amazing failures but some amazing successes. Let me tell you more. I was first introduced to Oster stains by Ken Leap in this book written by Ken about silver stains. It's an amazing book which goes into a whole range of tests of stains that are available on the market. I'll leave links below this video where you can access this book. It really is worth your while. It's also referred to in this fantastic book called Time and Temperature by Jonathan Cooke. I have the first edition. There's now a second edition available. Again, Jonathan goes into detail about these stains, and Jonathan is the UK representative of Oster stains. He is the supplier in the UK for these stains. In Europe, you can get them at PELI Glass, the Netherlands-based amazing company that supplies paints and stains internationally. You can also get Oster stains in the States directly from Cliff. And again, I will leave details below this video where you can access both those books and these amazing stains. So there's a real range of red float stains we have to experiment with, which I'm really delighted about. Now we're moving on to our silver stains. This is known as the Ancient Walpole silver stain. So we'll try that. And again, this is the Ancient Winchester silver stain. And finally, we have the Ancient Autumn Orange silver stain. Let's start by cutting all of our float glass and identifying which is the tin side and which is the non-tin side. So we've now cut all our sample pieces of glass. So we're going to mix all of our reds and our yellow stains each individually just with water, no added gum. And let's try our first out of the box, number 171. So it's actually quite a pale color, really a very kind of sandy pale color. It's very soft, which is nice. It's packaged in the traditional way that glass paints have been packaged for decades, which is with this little metallic kind of clasp that you fold back down again. I really like it. First impressions, really soft, really talcum powder soft, not too gritty. Let's just spend a moment grinding it down. To this, we're going to add a little bit of water. I'll be curious to see if there is any gum added to this mixture in the manufacturing process. It's not really mixing tremendously well at the moment. It seems to be kind of taking a little bit of time to mix in. It's quite frothy. It definitely feels different to the Reusch paints that I've been accustomed to. There's more kind of effervescence to the paint. Now, interestingly, Jonathan Cooke refers to effervescence in paint mixtures, specifically the medieval manuscripts, which talked about the frothing and the effervescence that happens with paints when they were mixing them with egg white. And the way to overcome that frothiness was to use a little bit of earwax. Add a little bit of, the fresher the better apparently, a little bit of earwax to the paint mixture would reduce its tendency to froth, which is a really kind of weird but interesting kind of side note. Can you see all these little micro bubbles here on the surface? It's interesting, isn't it? It's definitely a different subtle change to what I'm used to. So as you can see here with my glass samples, they all have a little black dot on one side, which tells me that this is the tin side. Let's thin this down and make it really quite thin down here. So our glass is now back out of the kiln. I've started to clear off some of the top residue that's on the silver stain pieces. So you can see here, hopefully in reflected light, that there is a deposit, which is the carrying agent that carries the active ingredients onto the surface of the glass. So we just need to wipe this back off, usually just with a little bit of water. Looks really nice. It's a really very, very rich tone here. Now, I do recall talking to other glass artists who say that these particular Oster stains are very strong, very potent, and you only need a small amount. So it may be that I've got enough to do more tests. I might actually put on even less in future tests just to see how little chemical I can apply to the glass to actually get an outcome. Tin side, ancient Winchester, is this colour, and the non-tin side is this. So we've got quite a strong yellow ochre here for the tin side of ancient Winchester, and exactly the same paint applied at the same temperature on the non-tin side gives us a much more lemony yellow colour. Really nice. So let's go on to the ancient autumn. So the ancient autumn tin side is a really strong orange, a kind of a burnt orange. It's really quite a dark, rich, almost getting to the point where it's beginning to metal, but it's not. You know, we've managed to make sure that it doesn't actually metal, but there is a quite a large sort of granulated kind of deep flecks in this particular orange here, a browny orange. And then the non-tin side also has some of these flecks in it, and it is slightly lighter, but not a huge amount lighter. So that is possibly the ancient autumn is a more intense, richer tone. Interesting here. And again, finally, the final yellow silver stains in the range look like this. So this is the Walpole non-tinned, and this is the Walpole stain on the tin side, again fired at 620 degrees. And you can see quite a tonal change again from this beautiful kind of mid-tone orange, which is really delicious, to a paler, a mid-tone yellow ochre color here. It does certainly feel that these are strong, potent silver stains. So yeah, delighted with these. These are our red stains back out of the kiln, and again you can see, hopefully the camera is picking up a deposit again on the surface, a more browny deposit. Let's reveal what this red stain actually looks like with our first test pieces. Okay, so there we have it. Yeah, very pale. All of them are very pale. I was hoping to get more intensity of color out of these. Is it user error? Am I not firing it for high enough a temperature or long enough? I'm imagining that I'm going to have to do a lot more test samples just to see what we can, what kind of outcome we can get with this. Beautiful colors, but I am looking for, especially in the range of reds, I'm looking for more intense colors to be generated. So I reached out to Cliff to get a little bit more about the background of his fascinating story. Cliff, it's wonderful to say hello to you. I've heard so much about you from so many artists, and your reputation precedes you. Are you a chemist? Are you, I mean, how did you hit on it so well?
Oh my goodness. Everybody asks me that. And I have to be honest, I'm more of an historian than I am a chemist. I have a master's degree in history. If you really got to know me, you'll know that I truly believe in intuition. I made some and I changed all the formulas and I used some different ingredients. And the sample was ancient Walpole.
Wow.
It was like I hit it. I hit the bullseye.
Can you tell me a little bit more about? I mean, I've been using your stains, and they're fantastic. What I'm struggling with a little bit more is the new reds that you've sent through to me. I At the moment I'm getting a kind of like a pale
I know.
kind of
And
flesh tone, and I'd love to hear your feedback on how to work with that.
to possibly temperature,
Yeah,
but more importantly, the glass.
yeah.
Now, according to Jonathan, he's checked with the head chemist at Pilkington that makes his float glass. And he said that the amount of tin in the glass is dependent on where the glass was during the run.
I'm about to experiment with museum quality glass and UV glass to try and see how it reacts to those different types of glass, because I understand that it's the tin content that makes all the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. And with the flashlight, you can see differences in the tin. The more milky it is, the more tin is there. If the glass that you had didn't have that much tin in it.
It may well be that. I mean, it may well be user error on my part.
Well, you could try to get distilled water
Distilled water, yeah.
and mix with that.
Based on my initial conversation about the paleness of the red stain, I have got some deionized water and a selection of different glass types here. So there are a variety of UV filtered glass which are used for museums to protect paperwork and parchment, etc. We've got some 4mm float glass, and we have some other museum glass here as well. So our glass is now back out of the kiln for the final test firing, and you can see here some marvelous results. There are a variety of different glass types that we're using here. The first in this column is 4mm float glass, and I think this is the best result. By far the best result is this one, and this is Pilkington's 4mm float glass, a standard glass that you can get in any glazier's merchant, certainly here in the UK. This gets great results on the red 166 by far. Then also great results on the red 144, and it's paler here on the 170, and then on the 171 it really is quite pale. And again on the red 171 there's a little bit of a yellow hue happening on this one, so it's an orangey yellow, but this is the beautiful blood red that we're trying to get here. This is the Bullseye Tecta glass. So let's clean this surface residue off. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Interesting. Okay, so this is the textured side. This is the smooth side. And again, yeah, nothing. Okay, so that was 650 degrees centigrade. A little bit of a marking here, but hardly anything at all. I would say that that is not successful. So again, we've got some horticultural glass in this column. Now, horticultural glass is the cheapest glass available. It tends to be used for greenhouses, etc., and it often has imperfections in it, but it does have a tin side and a non-tin side. So again, you can see we're getting some interesting results, not as strong as the 4mm, but the 3mm float glass is also giving us some great results. Again, surprisingly, we're getting some really lovely results with our UV museum glass here. This is standard 4mm UV glass, and it reacts beautifully with the red 153. 3mm UV glass again is giving us nice results, but interestingly the 3mm glass isn't reacting as strongly as the 4mm glass. We've got some UV 2mm glass here, and again you can see it is much paler in this test here with the stain 153. Interestingly, this is our AR99, which is our museum quality glass, and as you can see here, it's a complete disaster. It doesn't work at all. There are deposits on the surface of museum glass to reduce the reflective qualities of the glass, and also to inhibit the UV from penetrating through the glass to the artwork underneath. And those chemical additives are having a profound effect when you fire them in the kiln. They've completely burned. This is the ruby red stain here, and as you can see here, again, there is no reaction to this. So I can safely say that the AR99 museum quality glass does not react well to being put into the kiln. So what's the big takeaway from these experiments? Well, firstly, don't use bullseye Tecta, it doesn't work, and don't use the AR70 or the AR99 art glass. They have coatings on them which don't take at all well to being fired in the kiln. As far as the yellow silver stains are concerned, these tend to perform extremely well here, whether it is the tin side, which is this top row here, or the non-tin side, which is the bottom row. You can see there's a slight change in color. As has been mentioned to me by other glass artists, it is a potent stain and you don't need a huge amount of it in order to get a result. So the idea is that it lasts longer, your stocks last longer. It's a little bit more of an upfront cost because there's a little bit more silver, as Cliff was mentioning in our interview, in the recipe mix, but they are potent and they'll last you a long time. With regard to the red stains, these are the best results by far. The 4mm float, the Pilkington's 4mm float is the clear winner with this beautiful, intense blood red using the red 166. Also great results on standard UV glass, 4mm UV glass, which gives us beautiful results as well. Coming down here to the 2mm glass is not quite as strong a reaction, and I think it would certainly suggest from these experiments that 4mm glass reacts better to the red stains than 2mm glass here. And again, these are my early experiments at 620 degrees. For me, it was too low a temperature. I was getting a result, and perhaps if you want this baby pink, fire it at a lower temperature, maybe around 620. That's how I achieved these colors. But if you want the strongest colors possible, take it up to 650 degrees. So how did I achieve these results? I used deionized water. I fired the paints on the tin side. I fired them up to 650 degrees centigrade, and I held them at that temperature for 30 minutes, then switched the kiln off. That achieved these results. The 2mm glass doesn't react as strongly as the 4mm glass. The best glass is the Pilkington's 4mm float glass, and the best stain in my results is the red 166. If you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for lots more inspirational videos, tutorials, artist reviews, studio tours, and product reviews. And check out this video next as you continue your journey in the wonderful world of stained glass. Thanks again. Bye for now.